drastically. Another classic with massive intensity. We destiny drastically. A drastic stack.
Chillin', and welcome to the YEE HAA News. I'm Jake.
And I'm Bailey. In today's stories, a new crime wave is sweeping the country in the form of woolen graffiti. Scientists have invented an invisibility cloak. We help them find it, and the latest in weather around the country. But first, a story that will turn your world upside down.
If you think the world is getting more and more topsy-turvy, it turns out you're right. Builders in Germany have built an upside-down house. And before you think they may have read plans upside down, they didn't. They did it on purpose. The wacky pad was built because the woman is crazy, as well as being a comment on the state of the world. The house is 23 feet tall and rests on its roof, and has a steel beam in the attic. Inside the house, there are beds screwed into the ceiling, upside-down wardrobes, an upside-down kitchen, and even an upturned bathroom. Though it's not known if anyone has tried to have a bath in it, or go to the toilet. Normally a house like this would take 3 weeks to build. This one took 4 months because workers kept getting confused by strange angles of the walls. We now cross over to our reporter Janice, who is inside the house. How are you feeling, Janice?
Thanks, Jake. I'm here with the owner of the house, Sumo, and I'm feeling curious. So what made you decide to build this upside-down house?
Well, every morning there's this mad man. He walks past my window. He wears a green cape and has glasses. He's a terrorist, I tell you. He's dangerous. Mad!
What comment do you feel this house makes about the state of the world?
Well, we all know that the world is a very unsafe place, but judging by these mad people that walk past my home, it's very, very, very unsafe, and you never know when the next attack's going to come. What's your steps?
What are some of the challenges of living in a house where everything is upside down?
Oh, there's none. It's wonderful, I tell you. Wonderful!
What makes you think there's going to be terrorist attacks?
Oh, well, just these mad people. Who dresses like that anyway? It's crazy! Crazy, I tell you! Crazy!
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Trudy for YEE HAA News. Back to you, Jake, in the studio.
Thanks, Janice. Even watching that makes me feel like vomiting. And now for a story that is truly out of sight. Look out, Harry Potter. The world of science is catching up to the world of magic. Scientists in Europe have created a 3D invisibility cloak which can hide objects by bending light waves. It has been found that light can be controlled using special tiny crystals that make objects disappear. So far, scientists have made small objects such as coins disappear, but hope that it won't be long before they are hiding cars, planes, and even people. People have always dreamed of making themselves invisible, one top scientist says. The possibilities are endless and we are very excited. However, since the inventing of the invisibility cloak, the scientists have been trouble finding it. As soon as we put it down somewhere, it just disappears, the inventor of the cloak says. It appears they are having trouble finding other things too, like their lunch, which they think may be underneath the cloak. What will this invention actually be used for? Hoping to see through the reasons behind the invisibility cloak, here is our on-the-spot reporter, Matilda, with more on this story.
Hello, I'm Matilda, and here with me today is Japati, one of the scientists behind the invisibility cloak. Hi Japati, and thanks for joining us today. So, what made you want to invent the invisibility cloak?
Well, I was just sitting home having a cup of tea with my good friend Tomiti, and he told me this idea. Well then, we wrote this idea down, took it into production, and then here we are, a globally marketed product. Yeah.
Can you show me how the invisibility cloak works?
Well, can't you see it's working right now? I got it on my head.
What do you hope the cloak will be used for?
It'll make it a lot easier to get down with the YEE HAA ladies, and also to steal hangies.
So, when this guy came to your house, can you explain to us what he looked like?
Yeah, he had big mental eyes, a bald head, and a tamoko.
Well, that makes things very clear. Thanks for joining us. And we're out of time, so back over to you, Jake, in the studio.
Thanks, Matilda. And now here's this for an interesting yarn. A new wave of graffiti crime is covering the country, thanks to an underground gang known as the Midnight Knitters. These wool-weaving criminals are covering tree branches and lampposts with small jerseys and cards. and scarves under the cover of darkness. Police say that knitted activities of the gang are illegal because their woolly crimes are being done on public property without permission. The popularity of the woolen graffiti is growing and more public objects are being wrapped up every night. But the problem is growing. Police say and warn if the midnight knitters aren't caught soon, every tree, lamppost and traffic light in the country will be warm dressly against the cold. The problem is spinning out of control. Their close-up network group died in the wool. Criminals, we are stitching together a case, but it's not seamless. There is no real pattern to these crimes, a police spokesman said today. So far, the criminal knitters have escaped arrest and continue to pull the wool over the eyes of both the public and police. We go now to a secret location with our investigative reporter, Jay Diggity Dog, who has an exclusive interview with one of the Midnight Knitters gang.
Thanks, Jake. I'm Anika and joining me is Jay Diggity Dog. So, Jay Diggity Dog, where did you come from?
Like all you people out there, we all came from the same place. So yeah, like all yous.
Okay. What led you into the dark underworld of knitted graffiti?
Well, my grandmother, just before she passed away, she gave me her knitting utensils, and I was 2 months, and I became a pro at 2 months. Yeah.
What kind of materials do you use?
I go down the road and I go left, right, right, left, 4 blocks down, and then I come all the way back and on the left, and it's at Sharon's Fine Leathers, and they're 99% wool and 1% cotton, and they're 25% off, guys. Yeah, yeah.
Who inspired you to become a knitted graffiti artist?
Well, one day when I was at my grandmother's house and we were knitting together, and these 7-year-olds tried to tag on her fence, and I didn't have a vivid and I couldn't steal one, so I used wool and I tagged over it with wool. Yeah.
So I also heard you were a famous rap artist.
Oh, yeah, some people say I am, but I don't know.
Could you do a little rap for us?
Yeah, I'll give you guys a sample. Yeah. I live on the street, yo, what do you say? I live in the gutter so I don't have to pay. I've had spiked hair since I was 5. I got that from down the beehive. Yeah.
Thanks, Jay Diggity Dog. We now go over to Osama Bin Draper with the weather update.
Jay Diggity Dog, and good evening New Zealand. Let's have a look at tomorrow's weather. Starting in the far north in Kaitaia, look out for some pretty flash flooding as big as and raindrops as big as your head. If you're going outside, wear a hat. Moving down here to Auckland, there'll be a mix of fair conditions and unfair conditions, but those are the conditions, and you'll just have to accept them. This weekend coming up, there will be some wild weather, harsh thunder, storms, and gale force winds. So if you're planning a Kontiki trip to Spookers, it may not be your weekend. There will be no weather at all for the Bay of Plenty. It's taking a short holiday, but it's expected to be back for the weekend. In Napier Hastings, the weather will sometimes be changeable and sometimes not. We have really no idea what will happen there. In the Taranaki, a mild depression brings it with a very dull day, with no highlights at all. It'll be overcast and gloomy all morning. But things should cheer up by the evening, so don't worry. Everything will be fine. Wellington will have a capital day. There will be no wind at all, and the conditions will be so pleasant they'll actually be extreme. So be expecting some YEE HAA ladies in an area near you. And the top of the South Island, Kaikoura, is expected to have a good day, meeting friends for lunch, going for a swim, and reading the newspapers. But try to stay indoors as the weather will be terrible. A real mix for Christchurch, which will have some unreasonable rainfall, some sensible wind, moderate thunderstorms, and some of very angry snow. In the lower south, Dunedin will be frosty until late morning, when the sun will pop over for a visit. Everybody likes the sun. That's all from me, unfortunately. Remember, if it's raining outside, that's the weather for you. Good night, New Zealand. YEE HAA. Now it's back to the news desk with Jay and Bailey.
Thanks, JCab. We hope you've enjoyed this evening's broadcast.
Well, that's all we have time for. Thank you all for watching, and we'll be seeing you again next time.
Until then, I'm Jay.
And I'm Bailey.
Goodbye. Yeah.
Brooklyn, ladies and gentlemen, hard no A. T.O. to the K, T.O. to the K. I'm riding for good, so here's a holla out to all of my group. Don't let the second get down to your K do it. Run with a whole second animals running a fluid. Up in this territory, you mix the two fluid. Wrong self-esteem. You can find me with them hoodies and them baggy jeans. A group of hoodies behind me, you know they monkey mean. Ain't nothing funny, black colors hanging up on my jeans. Cause I be banging with fathers who pop a lot of things. Set you straight, I don't mess with methamphetamine. Girl, you better be sober, would we be battling? Actually it's all over, you ain't not a ching. Don't make me run up on you, hit you with the bada bing. And suddenly, you get looked at like a wannabe. Everything that you're not ever gonna be. And that's all that the world's gonna see. Somebody tell these phonies who the hell I be. Representing drastically, another classic with massive intensity. We representing drastically, a drastic stack of T's. We'll pass the beat from T-O-K-O-R and no